The New Orleans Saints brought the fans and they brought the festivities, but it was no party for Dallas on Sunday. The Cowboys get dominated in their home opener at AT&T Stadium. 44-19, the final in week 2, and the Cowboys are now 1-1, and we're talking about it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly here on Cowboys Flashback. I'm Nicole Hutchison, and there's no playing the blame game after Sunday's performance. Offensively, the opportunities were there, and the Cowboys just couldn't capitalize. Defensively, they had no answers either, giving up 432 total yards. The only bright spot from Sunday, well, that was Brandon Aubrey, nailing all 4 of his field goal attempts. And Sunday's loss was a complete night and day from week 1, but Mike McCarthy taking full accountability.
Disappointed, very disappointed the way we played. From top down, starting myself here, the finish, particularly, as far as the different battles as you go through the game, the run game battle, we didn't win that on either side. Obviously the turnover battle, they won that. So I thought they did a better job finishing plays, and they hit their big plays. I think we were -3 at halftime. I don't know what it ended up, but we needed to keep pace. Complimentary football. Defense was struggling obviously, throughout the first 3 quarters. And we need to score touchdowns in the red zone. And we had some execution challenges that they were better than we were. So if we could have kept pace with them and kept that to a 1-score, possible 2-score game, then you come down the stretch and you're competing to win. So you need adversity games like this. You definitely don't want to ever perform like this. They played well. Give them credit. But yeah, I think like all of us, we're disappointed with our performance today. But the true reality is we'll take the film tomorrow. That'll tell the complete story. There's no burn the tape. I'll sit here, so we don't. That's not the way I've ever operated. So we will take a hard look at it because we all need to learn from it. We got a new defensive staff, and this is the first time we were on cloud 9 last week, and now we got punched, and no differently offensively. We did not handle the adversity part of it to keep pace with the way the game was going. So, and more importantly, our young players, they need to learn from this experience. So that's where we are, 1-1.
Mike McCarthy discussing the struggles on offense. They were 0-3 in the red zone, like he mentioned, just 1 offensive touchdown on Sunday all the way. So you talk about the struggles that they had, but we got to now, right, turn the page. There's a lot of soul searching the Cowboys have to do. That starts today. They've got 6 days to prep for the Baltimore Ravens, but now they turn to Mike Zimmer specifically. How do they go from dominant to being dominated? That's up next right here on Cowboys Flashback.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
92 points, that's the amount the Dallas defense has given up in the last 2 home games combined. Of course, that's going back to the 2023 playoff loss to the Green Bay Packers. But keep in mind, it's 2 different teams, 2 different schemes, but still the same outcome. But if you look at the Saints' possessions, it was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. They scored on their first 6 possessions. Alvin Kamara, of course, being the X factor, 4 touchdowns and 180 scrimmage yards. And when you talk about this run defense, it was basically non-existent. But Micah making it clear that it wasn't the scheme, it was just a lack of execution.
To me, it had nothing to do with the scheme. I thought him called a pretty good game. Now, there was a man play we happened in the screen, but at the end of the day, that's life. You know what I'm saying? You always don't know play's going to be a perfect call. But at the end of the day, I believe that we just got outplayed. I don't think, whoever played on that field, everyone didn't play to 100%. That's just me being accountable and, saying the truth. And everyone, we all got to play better. There's some plays I wish I had back, just schematically things that I wish I was in a different position. But, you know what I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, I believe I still go out there and give 100. I just feel like, there was a lot of BS in today.
Did they do what you saw them do on tape against Carolina, or were they doing stuff differently this time?
I would say how they blocked me was different, but no, we knew they was going to run with the ball. We knew they was going to be aggressive in the run. They stayed true to it. But, you know, I think today we the one that got bent.
What were they trying to do to use have more success getting after Derek Carr?
Well, they did a great job schematically, right? Everything was short, everything was quick, and if it wasn't, it was maxed up two-man routes, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, I also thought it was different, which was a creative way, was instead of, you know, having a lineman block me and max of protection with the chip, you know, they kind of just sent the chipper lineman, then sent the running back to cut. So, you know, I was going through a maze almost. So, you know, I thought that was creative, a new way, things that I didn't see. So now this is an opportunity for me to see a creative look that I haven't seen before and get better from it.
I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like the, you know, the first quarter and stuff like that, we were coming with it. You know, obviously, you know, they put up some points early on some big plays, and you know, we all could have done better on that. But at the same time, like you know, late in the quarter, we got to put up a stand as defense. You know, as soon as we come in at halftime and we know what the situation is, you know, we gotta buck up and do better than what we did today. So you know, like I said, we're all wearing a piece of that, of what happened on today, and you know, like that's not what we want. You know, for sure. You know, obviously he takes the speed to the edge. You know, at times keeps you honest. Even when the fit is telling you to fit backside, you know, he'll just press it front side, and you know, even when the fit is going front side, he'll cut it back. So you know, he kind of, you know, he's keeping his depth back there, and he's kind of, you know, pressing the line of scrimmage, making those cuts that we you know, we've seen him make. And you know, at the end of the day, we gotta play football on the back end and get him stopped.
Eric, the proverbial 24-hour rule, is there sometimes a danger that it can bleed more than 24 hours? And how do you keep that from happening when it's a disappointment?
Yeah, you know, when it's like this, you know, we got to feel this for the next 24 hours for sure. You know, I feel like, you know, you look around the locker room, you can sense it. You know, everyone's, you know, obviously disappointed. We didn't want that, especially at our home opener. But, you know, the NFL will humble you like that. And this isn't the first time, you know, I've been a part of that. But, you know, we got to make a stand. You know, we got to come back to work tomorrow. Obviously, let it hurt for a little bit. I think that's a good thing. And then, you know, put it in our rear view and work towards the next.
Eric Kendricks and Michael Parsons giving the Saints offense the respect that they certainly deserve. I mean, it was the screens, the motions, the crazy formations. I mean, the run game was so effective and they were explosive when they needed to be. Clint Kubiak had this Mike Zimmer defense in a blender, and it showed. And Derek Carr had his way with the Cowboys secondary, throwing for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Trayvon Diggs had one word to describe Sunday's defensive performance.
Unacceptable.
I feel like, you know, they knew what was going to be in. So, you know, max protect, you know, stop the rush, two-man routes, play action, you know, little stuff like that. But we knew what, you know, it was going to be doing. So, you know, it was just unacceptable that we didn't come to play this game. Yeah. It's not necessarily confusing. It's just, you know, you got to be on your toes. You got to be on your P's and Q's because they can run it, play action, and then when they passing the ball, they max protecting everybody, so we're not getting no rush. So, you know, he's just out there just, you know, it's just unacceptable. You know, I'm not going to make no excuses, but, you know, it's unacceptable. We didn't come to play today. Yeah. Nah, you know, we got hit in the mouth. I'm glad it happened early. You know, we know what that feels like. You know, we just got to be better in the future. You know, I have faith in all the guys. I know we're going to be better. Look at the film tomorrow, put it behind us, and, you know, focus on next week. I wouldn't necessarily say it's concerning. It's football at the end of the day, whether we're playing home, whether we're playing away. It's still football at the end of the day. So, you know, no matter where we at, we got to come to play, handle our business. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Like I said, max protection, sending two-man routes. Out scheme us, I guess.
Communication?
No, we just didn't come to play.
The Cowboys defense with no answers on the field, but not holding back with their answers in post game. But we cannot just blame the defense for this loss. This offense had their fair struggles as well. Dak and CD, they were still the heartbeat of this offense, finding that connection in the Sunday's matchup. But he's still looking for that other consistent offensive weapon. Will he ever find that next consistent offensive weapon? That's up next right here on Cowboys Flashback.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
There was a lot of meat left on the bone. Those were the words of Dak Prescott, and he was not talking about chicken wings. He was talking about the dominant performance from the Cowboys in Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, but it was a different meaning carried over into Week 2 against the Saints. The Cowboys offense struggling again to put points on the board. The only offensive points coming from a Dak and CD connection on the third offensive drive. But it wasn't the fact that Prescott didn't get more guys involved or just couldn't put together drives, because he did. They just couldn't finish.
It was tough. Obviously, they got the better end of us. They played a better game than we did. They finished better than we did. And personally, it sucks to intake, but realistically, you just got to take it and you need to move on and obviously grow from it and then become a better team by next week.
How would you assess where you guys are?
We're still growing. We still have a lot to prove. Obviously, we only had like 19 points, and then last week I think we only scored once. So I want to say we had 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. That's unacceptable. And I think the guys can also vouch for that. And we got to be better.
How much more difficult is it for you guys to go down early for the offense?
We got to play complementary football. So if the defense give up a touchdown, we got to have that same flexibility to go out there and go score, to match their intensity, match their efforts. A football game broke out, obviously, in my opinion, but we didn't answer the call. I feel like we could have done a lot more as far as physicality and overall just playing better. But we got some things to clean up.
We got a bog down in the red zone each of the first 2 games. I think some of that is, with the lack of preseason reps, we're still working some of the kinks out for live team.
Not necessarily. I wouldn't even blame it on the preseason. I wouldn't blame it on anything. We just got to execute. Say that again.
What was Dak saying?
Because we left some plays out there, obviously, and then we got lucky with the flags, which didn't count. It kind of counter-offer, but we definitely, us together, we need to make most of those opportunities. Myself, I feel like I got to be better for the team, obviously. I left some plays out there that could have changed the game, personally, I feel like, and I'm still working on it.
Leaving plays out there seems to be the theme. The first drive of the game, it was stalled after Tyler Guyton was called for holding. They settled for a field goal, and the second was stopped when Prescott missed CeeDee Lamb in the back right end zone. So what should have been a tied game earlier second quarter became a track meet that the Saints had a firm lead in.
Yeah, it's the NFL. I talk about each and every week. No games are played on paper. As far as riding a high, I know I wasn't personally. I don't think the guys in the locker room necessarily were. I talked about how much meat we left on the bone offensively, and that's simply why you can't listen to other people's opinions and read what you guys write respectfully. Yeah, y'all may have put this team on a high more than we should have been, and now we just simply have got to reset. We've got to respond. We're not going undefeated. Hadn't been done in 50 years. Woo, surprise. So it's about getting back to it. And finding a way to respond to put the best team on the field next week.
Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. What's your assessment of the run game today? And I know the game kind of got away from the run game, but in the first half, what would be your assessment of it?
Yeah, I've got to watch the tape. Like you said, the game kind of got out of hand a little bit there, where we're forced to just throw the ball. And a lot of times, I hand the ball off, I carry out my fake, so I can't tell if it was the back or if it was the line or what it may be. So after I watch the tape, probably could give you a better assessment. But when the score's that way, you can't continue to run the ball. We had a drive there, I guess, when the second half that one drive came out. And I know it ate up a lot of clock, and they get the ball back in the third quarter's ending. So at that point you realize, hey, we've got to score fast if we want to come back into this thing.
The Cowboys were better on third down, but what good are third down conversions when you're driving down the field but just can't find the end zone when given the opportunity? The Cowboys were 0-3 in the red zone. Dak was sacked 3 times, threw 2 interceptions. Of course, one of them credit to Jalen Brooks when he stumbled out of his break. Overall, this offense took a step backwards if you're trying to assess the improvement, what should have been improvement from week 1 to week 2. But once that first domino fell, the rest just came trickling down. But where did it all go wrong for this offense? We're talking about it right here on Cowboys Flashback, and George Teague joins the show.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
He's going to try to gain it here on second down. Pressure coming to set a screen. Oh, there's a lot of room. Alvin Kamara, room to roll. Alvin Kamara's going to score. Touchdown.
See, that right there was one of the many parts, Clint Kubiak, of this masterclass he put together with the Saints offense on Sunday against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys really had no answers. But we got George Teague to help maybe give us a little bit of these answers for this Cowboys defense. And now we got to go ahead and run the play. It was a game-changing play for this Cowboys team. First quarter, Derek Carr, watch this, launches a bomb, a dime actually, to Chris Olave. Excuse me, that was Rashid Shaheed. And we have a Cowboys game, but we talk about Rashid Shaheed, who was used so much in the running back as a running back. We had him using in the passing game as well. But when you talk about that play right there, what went wrong for this Cowboys defense?
Well, first of all, if you look at it, you can see Michael Parsons over here lined up as a defensive end. You always want to get pressure. You don't want to give up the big plays either. But if you let it roll, you see one of the things that I feel like the officials may have missed. Anytime you got a lineman get his hands back behind the shoulder pads, you hope to see a flag, okay? If you pause it just for a second, you can also see that you got 2 high safeties, okay? That's very, very interesting, and we're going to see a little bit of difference here on why we think there's a problem with this. So go ahead and let it run. Okay, so play action, big-time play action out of Derek Carr. Over the past couple weeks. We knew that was going to be happening. In this case, you have what looks to be like a jump call is what we call it. So one safety goes over to the high post, and the other safety is supposed to help on the crosser. All right. So from this next angle, you'll be able to see that we're in like a soft cover 2, kind of look like here with Kalen Carson. All right. So he gets a little jam. He's coming up on Malik, and you can see right now that he's already anticipating a little bit of help from number 6 to come and try to help on this. This would have been the jump call where they're trying to work in coordination. Just a tad bit late on it, but when you give up 70-yard bombs early in the game, explosive plays, it kind of messes with your tempo.
One play drive. Can we run that play back really fast real quick? Because you had Micah Parsons, who was getting chipped everywhere. You had maybe obviously one-on-one with the matchup with the left tackle, but you had even tight ends and a little bit of the running backs as well, just getting hands on them as well. How much do you feel that impacted those plays like that?
Well, first of all, you can see there's 4 guys over here by him, so it impacts him a whole lot. That makes it very tough on anybody. It doesn't matter how good they are, how much work that they're actually putting in. You can't get through some of this stuff. So if you're anticipating your best pass rusher to be getting in there, you're getting grabbed, you got 3-4 guys to try to chip, it's too hard to do.
This Cowboys defense, well, I'll talk about the offense as a whole. They gave up 432 total yards to the Saints offense. Yeah, ouch, certainly the words to use. But if you're Mike Zimmer, where do you go from here? How do you improve?
Yeah, this is the part from the coaching staff where you actually go back and you start to analyze what really happened. You know, how did they figure out how to turn to us? What can we do to adjust this next week? So a lot of coaching, a lot of film sessions to see if you tipped your hand in some kind of way, because this is not the normal Mike Zimmer defense. I don't anticipate seeing the big plays continue to happen. I know he's going to be stressing that, but he knows the pressure is going to be critical, particularly next week when you have to go in and you play against another highly explosive offense.
Well, this Cowboys team, they have Mondays, right? They have 6 days total to get ready for the Baltimore Ravens, but will they be able to find those answers before Sunday? That's up next right here on Cowboys Flashback.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Reliant, an NRG company.
There was one clear message following the Cowboys' loss on Sunday to the Saints, and that was that they're not letting that one loss keep them from their goal, which is to be playing playoff football in January, be possibly holding up that Super Bowl trophy in February. But they've got a lot of work cut out for them heading into Sunday. They've got the Baltimore Ravens 3:25 kickoff on Fox. We'll see y'all there in AT&T Stadium.